Now that we're loading cartridges into a cassette, we start with a situation that we have a capsule coming from the microscope with a cassette already in it. So you can see now the capsule is cold, there's liquid nitrogen in, and there is a cassette in. So we put this to the side and we need to cool down the loading station. So we are now using this plug down here to seal the hole so that we can start cooling down the loading station. Start to pour in liquid nitrogen. And you could put these lids on top and also pour through the hole here. Of course, you can also now, while you're further on along the way with cooling, put that lid on top there and actually pull through this part over here. Now be aware that nitrogen itself is clean and also nitrogen vapor is clean. You may spill quite a bit of liquid nitrogen, but actually drives out all the water vapor. So if you're fast, then you could also decide to not use these covers and just fill it quickly with a lot of liquid nitrogen and load your samples fast. We can now see that there is no more boiling, no more heavy boiling around the loading block. So our station is cooled down. We can now remove the plug here and we mount the capsule. We can take now the cassette out of the capsule and place it in the loading station. So you can now take the samples from the storage drawer into the loading station, and you can place the storage box with the autogrid cartridges into one of the slots. I always use a slot closest to the cassette, and then we unscrew the lid from the storage box. Be aware the lid might get stuck. The next thing is we take our auto loader tweezers and cool them down. And we might also need a pair of standard tweezers. We can cool them down as well. And again, you want to wait for the Leidenfrost effect. So when the hissing sound is over and the boiling stops, the tweezers are cold enough so you can grab the grids. So we can now start loading our grids into the cassette with the tweezers straight. So that's one. And we turn it around and we tap it. Now a lot of the view will be obscured by the nitrogen vapor. So it's good that when you first work with an autoloader cassette and the cartridges that you first practice this by hand, because a lot of this you'll do by feeling, because some of the clarity in your vision will be obscured by the vapor of the nitrogen. So I'm holding now the grid box down with a pair of tweezers. So all three grids have now been loaded, and I'm checking these grids by tapping them down in their respective slots. We can now refill with some liquid nitrogen, and we also refill the capsule a little bit with some liquid nitrogen And you may spill here. The more nitrogen vapor you spill, the cleaner you will work, because this will expel all the water vapor. And we then take the handle, slide it over the cassette, grab the cassette by pushing the pin, and then going into the capsule, releasing the pin and taking the handle out. And you can now release the capsule again and place a lid on it and move to the microscope. Always make sure after you've done this to check if this pin is still moving up and down to make sure it's not frozen.